once we go through this consciousness shift, we're going to have a closer connection with our higher selves and the Akashic realm. No one will be able to deceive you. No one will be able to sit there and lie to you. No one will be able to hide anything. It'll all be accessible. And the longer we spend in this new consciousness vibration, and the more we learn how to use it, the more and more impossible it becomes to hide anything from us. That is the reason why these different Rothschild and Rockefeller groups recently tried to cause a civil war within UFO communities. We're coming together too much for their taste. They cannot allow us to come together and begin to focus and co-create. They're going to do everything in their power to prevent that. But until we begin to stand up and use our own power, then we're always going to be slaves. And as soon as we realize that, we're creating a new reality. So I'm asked, what's going to happen first? Are we going to get disclosure, and then there'll be an ascension, and then our consciousness expands? My answer is, I don't know. We're going to co-create that reality together. It's up to each of you how this is going to unfold. But we got to put aside these different belief systems, not allow them to even be a part of the conversation. We have to come up with a common goal, and our common goal is we want to know. We want disclosure. That is the bind that will bring us together and allow us to co-create the disclosure we want. If we're going to wait for our government to walk up to a podium, or the Pope or anyone else, and say, okay, there are aliens, well, we're going to wait forever. We have to force the situation. We have to become very active. We have to come together, organize. When we get a full disclosure, it's going to be like a punch in the gut. All of our little belief systems are going to be destroyed before our eyes. Even us, we're not going to be hopping up and down and celebrating. We're going to be sitting there next to everyone else with our jaws on our chest. That's going to include all of the pedophilia stuff. It's going to include all of the galactic slave trade. Very, very upsetting things. People like us, we will be able to deal with it better than those who are totally asleep. But if we get disclosure, we're going to basically have to go and counsel our families. All of us are going to be shocked. None of us are immune. What we need to understand, this disclosure that we're asking for is extremely important for us to be able to move on as a species. They're going to be this Nordic group and a couple other very human-looking groups are going to be working with us to reduce the shock on our civilization. We're going to have a very visceral reaction to beings that don't look like us. So for our own comfort level, the beings that are more genetically compatible with us are going to begin to interact with us and help us not only adjust to the energies, but to understand the consciousness aspect. And they're going to come in and say, okay, there's been a change. You see things differently, you think differently, you know each other's thoughts. There are no lies that can be had between you. And they're going to take us by the hand as a loving cosmic family member, and they're going to assist us. They're not going to do the work for us. We've got to come together, organize, and begin to demand disclosure. And the best way to do that is not to go out and talk about little green men. The best way to get this out is to talk about the technologies, the suppressed technologies. There's been cures for cancer for 70 years. Every living thing has a bioneural frequency, and they can nullify that frequency. They can go in and detect, okay, here's the frequency of this cancer. And then they apply a field to it that just turns it off. It's that easy. We have a part to play. We can't sit back and wait for an announcement. We can't sit back and wait for a positive ET group to come in. They're sitting back waiting for us, to be honest. They're waiting for us to activate. We have to be a part of a solution. What they want us to know is you don't need religions, you don't need saviors. You are the one that you've been waiting for.